Faculty, administration, family, friends, and especially you sitting up here in front of us here. It's an honor to be here on this special year, actually, the 100th anniversary of SUNY Cobleskill. I think that's worth a round of applause right there. This is very fun for me. I get to be places many times on behalf of the governor, and today I get to be someplace on behalf of our community. It's a good day at SUNY Cobleskill. It's a good day in Scary County. It's a good day in New York when we can celebrate achievement and success. This time in your life and today can be a blur, but I think we all realize that this isn't so much the end of something as it is the beginning of something. I'd like to share with you a little bit about why I'm here today, and then offer some observations I've made along the way, and maybe I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. But first I have to stop. I want to read something that my father-in-law actually gave me some time ago. It kind of helps me get my head square before I'm about to speak to anybody. The Pythagorean theorem, 24 words. The Lord's Prayer, 66 words. Archimedes' principle, 67 words. The 10 Commandments, 179 words. The Gettysburg Address, 286 words. The Declaration of Independence, 1,300 words. U.S. government regulations on the sale of cabbage, 26,911 words. So sometimes less is more, and I'm going to try to heed that today. President Terenzio had asked me to touch on my career path and how I came to be here today a little bit. I was one of those lucky kids. I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, a farmer. Mom was the 5th generation on a hillside dairy farm just a little bit south of here. And I got my exposure to agriculture from my grandparents. It was pretty easy to fall in love with riding on the hay wagon, sitting on the tractor, walking the cows from the pasture, and farmhouse breakfast after chores. We often ask young people what they want to be when they grow up. I think I got the best answer when I asked my daughter Sarah when she was 5. I said, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Sarah?" She thought about it for a minute, and she said, 7. Mostly the answer is related to doing and not to being. I knew I wanted to be a farmer. It wasn't until later that I realized that I wanted to be the kind of person that the farmers in my life were. I thought I would be a dairy farmer right there on that farm. Unfortunately, when I was still fairly young, my grandparents retired, sold their farm. So I did not have a farm to go to. When I got out of high school, I still wanted to be in agriculture, so I walked down a farm lane, knocked on the door, asked for a job. I got hired. I went to work out in the field with 72 people who spoke a different language. I was number 73. I learned the work, I learned Spanish, and I would eventually become a crew leader. Within a few years, I became a manager and got to be a part of a farm transitioning and trying to find a way to stay alive in agriculture. It was here that I learned to be able to change, and not just tolerate change, but to embrace change. I got to be a part of an operation that began as a dairy farm, transitioned into potatoes, then vegetable production, learned the wholesale business, and then direct marketing. So I kind of got my college education working on that farm. After 20 years of working there, I had gained some knowledge of growing, possessed the knowledge, possessed the optimism, and I had picked up the ability along the way to confuse a banker. And we were able to acquire our own farm here in the Schoharie Valley, just 13 miles away from where I was born. Today we grow on 200 acres, we have about 50 employees, and although I am technically a first-generation farm and business owner, we now have 3 generations on the farm. Pretty cool. And looking back, I realized I had spent 20 years learning to farm, then spent 20 years building our farm. I was pretty sure that the next 20 needed to be spent figuring out how to transition to the next generation. In thinking about that, it was important to recognize that we're in the people business, the relationship business. As a farmer, no matter how good we get at putting a seed in the ground at the right time, cultivating it, nurturing it, harvesting it correctly, we need to make it work with a passing parade of people. We need to make it work with our employees and with our customers. We are in the relationship business. And if you value a relationship, then you take care of it. It was also at this point that the governor called me and asked me to consider being commissioner. And I'm here today in this role because of the conversations that I had with him about his goals for upstate New York, my belief in the future of agriculture and rural communities, and our desire to connect the dots between upstate and downstate, between our incredibly and growing agriculture industry and the biggest, most wonderful marketplace in the country. At a time when the divide between upstate and downstate, between rural and urban, has never been so stark, trying to connect the dots excited me. Standing here today, I'm reminded of my grandfather's day. 50 bushel of corn was a pretty good yield back then. Last year in the Schoharie Valley, I think we averaged 200 bushel to the acre. And we have some farmers that are pushing 300 bushel to the acre. And back in his day, 1956, I will remember this day because I was there. How many people remember 1956? Don't be shy. I was very small. But that was the first year in New York that there were more tractors than horses on our farms. Think about that. I think about where we were, I think about where we are, and I think about where we can go. What is our capacity? Where will you take us? I think we're in a good place here in New York, and I think we're in a good place in time. I still get up every morning on the farm and I look out across the fields and think, how many people get a chance to do this? And now I put on a tie and I head to the Capitol and I say the same thing. How many people get a chance to be a part of something like this? So I am more excited today about our opportunities. I am more excited today about your opportunities than I have ever been, even when I started farming. And so today we are here to take note of your success. I have a few observations and a few challenges for you. I want you to look around you. You are surrounded by friends and family and community, a network, all with an interest and a desire for you to find success in life. For your parents as well as all the rest of us in the community, one level of success will be your ability to stand on your own 2 feet and make the reasoned day-to-day decisions that life requires of us all. I'm going to ask you to do a little more than that, though. First of all, find a dream worthy of your life. Have a vision, a goal. Keep it in the front of your mind all the time. Whatever you choose to occupy your mind with, I believe will eventually happen. So be careful what you choose to think about. This is a principle that I believe is just as sure and strong a force as gravity. If you dream of having a profession, a family, a business, a farm, and you focus on that, I believe you can and will achieve it. So my challenge to you, have a dream worthy of your life. In order to make that happen, realize that success is a habit. It is not a one-time thing. It is not hitting a home run. It is not buying a lottery ticket. It is not finding $1 million. It is not just getting a degree. It is doing the little things every day correctly. It's not a one-day thing. It's an everyday thing. It's a habit. It's keeping your vision in front of you, not on occasion, but constantly. Have a good sense of history. You've heard it said that those who do not learn from history will be doomed to repeat it. There is a lot of benefit to be derived from observing what the world has done right and wrong in the past. But I'm speaking of your own history. Don't forget the lessons that you learned right here, every day. Like how to be a real friend. Don't accept a friendship at the expense of another one. So much lies ahead of you with so many options and open doors. Don't close any doors on your future by burning bridges behind you. You've been students most of your life, and I'm going to ask you to remain one. You're probably thinking, I'm about to get out of here. But I'm going to ask you to remain a student of your craft, your trade, your profession. Continue to look for ways to learn and to grow. Become a student of your community. I'm speaking also of this community. Stay connected to this network and value these relationships that you have around you today. They will become an even greater resource in years to come. And find yourself a student of life. And finally, a few words of advice that were given to me a long time ago. Remember your origins. Listen. Be teachable. Laugh at the good stories. Learn to tell them. And stay green. As long as you're green, you can grow. Thank you so much. Now work hard. Make us proud of
you. On the honor of this commencement, we are proud to present Commissioner Ball with a plaque that signifies his contributions to this college and to the community. Thank you, Richard.